everybody, to a Friday edition of Pick Central. We are live on the Barstool YouTube channel. We don't have the whole crew today, but we damn sure have a good one. I'm co-hosting with our good friend Ev, Double Vodka Don. We are going to throw down NFL playoffs. We've got our phone lines open, 1-888-STOOL-22. We're talking hoops. We got a lot of stuff we're going to get into today. Also, TJ Zah, our crew, always does a badass job. Appreciate kicking it with y'all. Ev, let's get into it first. There's a lot of ways we can go with this. I think we were both in the Garden last night, so we won't touch on that too long. But I think we have a tale of two different fan experiences last night.
Mincy, I said yesterday I haven't been to a game in a long time. The more I thought about it, I've been in the Garden a few times for other events. I've been to the UFC fights a few months ago. I've been to a few college games the last couple of years at the Garden. I didn't been to a Knicks game in realism, maybe over 5 years, probably over 5 years. I come to one game, and they're the worst basketball team I've ever seen. They scored 57 points in 3 quarters. They were abysmal. They were atrocious. We got blown out by the worst team in the NBA, or one.
I wouldn't say the worst.
One of them.
They were realistically, I'm a very honest Pelican fan. They were the beginning of the year. They were like 2-17, but they've been playing hard and like slightly under 500 the last month, 4 to 6 weeks. I mean, they're
fair enough,
but they're
one of the
certainly
worst teams.
Oh, you look at the roster; it's role players and Brandon Ingram. I mean,
it just was bad. I mean, no one could shoot. I mean, honestly, great. Mitchell Robinson played an unreal game. I'm sure the listeners love breaking down some sub 500 January NBA basketball. But yeah, the Knicks stunk. It was terrible. I had great seats. I had a great time. I was low-key pretty sauced up. But that probably was needed to bear the burden that the Knicks were taking, that just watching them miss every fucking shot and just be absolutely atrocious.
Yeah, I took the under 209.5 last night. It was like 12-4 Pelicans with 5 minutes to go in the first quarter. I mean, I was like, oh, well, we're good here already.
The under was a check mark from literally 2 minutes in the game.
Yeah, it's like you said, the Pelicans are kind of, obviously the no Zion thing is kind of the lingering identity of it right now. But finally, at least Willie Green, I like as a coach, former Pels player, was Monty Williams' assistant in Phoenix. At least they freaking try. And I know that's a very cheesy thing to say and all that, but after having Stan Van Gundy and Gentry and all the retread coaches, at least I like the coach. And they got a lot of young guys that are like Herbert Jones that are easy to pull for, that are trying to make their way in the league. The only thing is they'd actually have something if Zion was there, because Ingram's good. But, either way. I had a first MSG game, though, for me. I love the old school Oregon. The Oregon in there.
It's great.
Dude, the Oregon's awesome. That was cool. And I had a good experience. Obviously, it was fun seeing the Pels win. And I went Saints kill the Jets when I was here a few weeks ago, too. So maybe I'm good luck for New Orleans against New York.
Maybe so. It's the environment of the Garden's great. I still had a great time. I was there. One of my best friends. He got good tickets with his brother. It was his birthday today. Shout out my guy James Hames. Happy birthday,
my brother. Good seats, right?
We had great seats. He got them through work. So we were literally like 100 level, 5th row. We were literally right by where the players came in the locker. So, say, for example, Evan Fournier was on the bike. He literally was right in front of us. We were, right, kind of diagonal, one side of the court, kind of corner, if you know what I mean, just diagonal. But it was great seats, though. It was a good time still, even though the Knicks stunk it up.
Yeah, I had fun. Ended up hitting Koreatown, too, which is by here, eating some fire Korean barbecue.
There we go.
Late night. It was a good Thursday. Well, 1-888-STOOL-22. We're going to look ahead at college hoops. We got some, a real interesting matchup tonight with Wisconsin and Michigan State, to be honest. Kind of rat line, too. I thought Wisconsin would be 5 or 6. I'm a little, I don't know.
I'll say it off the rip. I'm heavy on Michigan State.
You think that it looked a little ratty, too?
Listen, I'm not on the the bench mob train where I'm just I've been pounding all year saying how Wisconsin's not good, Wisconsin's not good, Wisconsin's not good. I think they're really fucking good. You got to drop one eventually. This is the Big Ten. Michigan State's a very good team. They're very deep. They got a lot of big athletic guys. And I got a 3.5.
Wisconsin's they're due a bad one.
They've been playing
really
listen,
good.
It's tough because obviously it's at Wisconsin. They play extremely well at the Kohl Center. Totally get it. I'm taking a shot here. I like the position. I like the play. I'm on Michigan State plus 3.5. Also, another one. Thank God that we always get these 2 Big Ten games on Fridays, because the college slate's usually so just like, and it's a lot of like lower mid majors. But them, and also I was lucky I was able to grab Maryland last night.
I'm glad to hear this because I'm on them too.
Before I went to bed at 7.5, then all of a sudden Kofi's not traveling because of concussion. So now the line's down to like 4. So I felt really good about that.
You got it 7.
Then I got 7.5. Ooh. So I felt really good about that I got such a good line on it, even though I don't think it's like a guarantee or nothing. But
Illinois is off that crazy double overtime game
this
week where they fought back 3 different times against Purdue and ended up losing on MLK.
For me, it's more I just don't trust Maryland as far as I can throw them.
Well,
Maryland's anytime they play like good teams, I feel like they just get fucking smoked.
The phone lines are getting stacked up, 1-888-STOOL-22. Look, we're going to get into the NFL playoffs super heavy here. Look, we talked about it a decent bit so far this week. Man, the matchups this weekend are spectacular.
Incredible.
I mean, and, I know that the people were complaining there were a lot of blowouts last weekend, but I like that all the best teams, at least for the most part, all won setting up this weekend. And starting with Saturday, I'm going to do the FF Pod Parlay on Bengals-Titans. That'll be up later this afternoon. I'm debating some A.J. Brown, Jamar Chase stuff. Derrick Henry announced, as we expected, fully cleared to play. The more and more I think about this game, I'm pulling for the Bengals with my heart. I'm leaning Tennessee more and more with each passing day.
Yeah, I guess I keep, for me, it's almost, I guess I'm farther down the road than you, Mitzi, where I've kind of been on Tennessee all week. And as each day passes, I'm, more and more in on Tennessee. I'm more and more just, loving Tennessee. I just think, the way, listen, we talked about it a little bit yesterday and this week. I just think the way they're built, with obviously them getting healthy at the right time, I think Derrick Henry's able to come back, get in the bye and be in the spot where they had clinched and put them in a great spot where you got to sit when you need to, you got the proper amount of rest. And I just think he's going to be ready to go. All the things I've seen, just the videos of him running this and that, he looks good. I just think they're a team that's built to win right now, and I just think the Bengals are kind of this sexy underdog. I just think they're a year away from being a real Super Bowl contender. Listen, if they went and won this game and made a run at it, it would not surprise me at all because I think they're that talented.
There's some crazy. So there's an interesting stat gambling. The teams that get the buys cover like crazy in the divisional round.
Yep.
I mean, it's a little different now because now only the 1 seeds get it. It's not 4, it's 2. But, so often the public sees the wild card round and jumps on the underdog that wins because it's what they saw.
Yep.
And I don't know. I'm worried about the Bengals. The right side of that O-line's really weak. Tennessee's tough up front. Tennessee early on had that bad pass D, but it seemed like they improved a lot as the year went on, and they're going to pound Henry. So I hope I'm wrong, but I'm kind of leaning Tennessee more and more here.
Yeah, you brought up too the defense. I just we talked about it that stretch. The last time they were healthy, they were playing the best team in the NFL. And I just
they kept the 1 seed somehow.
That's what I'm saying. They still hung through, and like you said, home game, the teams that get the bye do very well. And I feel like you said it. There's this weird kind of thought process. It's a recency bias thing. Obviously you just saw them play really well, but it was funny. I was saying this to one of our security guys yesterday. He was asking me who I like this weekend. And I think what people also need to think about, too, is that, Tennessee is a massive, massive change in not only game plan, but just upgrade from the Raiders. And the Raiders gave them everything they could handle. I don't know if I could sit here and say the Raiders should have won that game, but they had a lot of fucking opportunities to win.
No, they did.
They had a lot of chances. Even, the last play, they were right there.
It was a field goal fest.
That's what I'm saying.
That kept them in it because the Bengals could have. They jumped them early and really could have, and they let them hang around. And look, you look at the Bengals. They win the AFC North. Then they finally get the playoff curse off their back. They hadn't won a playoff game since 1990. It's literally a free roll from here.
Yep.
I have friends that are Bengals fans. They're just look. We hope we win, but we're just so happy we finally won a freaking playoff game.
Think they were the worst team in the NFL not less than 2 years ago.
Yeah.
They're in the divisional round. This is a home run, 100%.
But anytime you got Burrow and Chase, man, they can just get hot and they can win any game. And that's the thing. There's always that factor.
That's why I keep saying how much I love Tennessee, but just Burrow just has this little magic in him, and I think him winning a game like this, he's gonna put himself in big time really don't bet against this guy territory if he's because it's just so rare that we see this much success this early. Not only from just like a young quarterback, but it's that they're winning because of him.
Yeah.
Like it's not even like early on with some of the guys like we've seen like Brady and like Roethlisberger make these like deep runs like young where
they were playing deep.
It was defense. They were making smart decisions. I don't want to disrespect say like game manager, but you know what I mean. Like they weren't throwing the ball 50 times a game. Where Burrow's out here slinging it, and like that's why they're winning these games.
No, I agree, and it's impressive. And he was older coming out of LSU. You know, he's like 24, 25 already, and so I think that helped him adjust. And he's already, you know, at LSU he played such big games, won the national title, won the SEC, and so it's translated well. But super excited for that one. Saturday night, Green Bay. This Green Bay Niners game is really, there's a lot of interesting dynamics to me. And, you know, the Niners beat up, man. I mean, Bosa had the concussion. Jimmy G's dealing with the thumb and shoulder stuff.
I believe they said Bosa's playing.
Yeah, oh yeah.
I'm pretty sure he's playing.
No, he is. But it's just when and then Warner got beat up, but he's supposed to play too, a linebacker. But I just keep coming back to, like, Green Bay's public and the line's not moving. It's 5.5, 6.
Yeah.
And then I also just keep saying this. I mean, I just remember all these Green Bay Niners matchups the last few years. SF just lines it up. They're like, hey, we're going to run it right at you. What are you going to do about it? And you and I have talked so much this year about how much Green Bay's defense has improved. But, you know, how are they against the power running game of the Niners? Because that's what's going to decide this game, I think.
Now, this is a tough one for me because this is a game now where these are two teams that I feel like I've had a lot of success betting on this year. Obviously, the Packers have been like I believe they went like 13-4 against the spread in the regular season, or 12, like something like crazy. They were unbelievable against the spread this year. Not that I mean the Cowboys were the same way, and that didn't mean shit against the Niners last week too. But the Niners are just, I think, in my opinion, in the NFC for sure, in my opinion, the worst matchup for them. Like just pure like stylistically, just the worst matchup. Run the ball. Tons of athletes. Like Debo has just become a total game changer.
Man, it's
total game changer.
The way they've used him in the offense is fascinating too. The way they get him the ball, running the ball too. Saw the Bengals actually copied that with Chase last week. Mm-hmm. You saw that.
Oh yeah, for sure. See, Debo, it's so crazy because like you can literally give this guy the ball inside the tackles. Like he's like an explosive but physical runner at the same time. It really is crazy. But also like a nifty good-footed receiver at the same time.
Oh, yeah, and he can kick, and he kick and punt return, too. I remember back in South Carolina, he literally can do anything, and then Shanahan does such a good job getting in the ball. It's going to come down to the Niners. Can they get the pass rush on Rodgers? Mm-hmm. Devontae Adams had a huge game in this. Remember the Sunday night game was a great game earlier this year. Green Bay, I remember, barely pulled it out.
That's like, for me, it's tough because I just really think Green Bay is going to win. But 5.5, 6 is probably, especially if he gets a 6, it's probably enough for me to pull the trigger on San Fran. The more and more I've gone on this week, like Green Bay, it's tough for me because they, like I said, like I think I'm over almost too loyal sometimes in betting. Like I've just been on Green Bay so many times, even when they've been like crazy public spots, and they just come through. They're just such a good football team, especially in Lambeau. They're just unreal. I believe they went 8-0 this year in Lambeau.
That's the thing, and it's a Saturday night, cold weather. Jimmy, I mean, if you're back in the Niners, you're back in the damn running game.
For sure.
You
defense,
ain't thinking
100%.
Jimmy G's outgunning anyone in that cold when he's banged up. I mean, you got to run the ball, and the D-line's got to just bring some serious heat. And the Niners also not really designed to play from behind in this spot either. You kind of got to get you got to kind of get up early, I think, here.
This game is really tough. This game, like, just for me, like I said, obviously I'll be tweeting my card tomorrow, but I'm still like I said, Tennessee, I'm firm on this one. I like the more we talk about it, I'm like a ping pong. Like I just ping pong in my brain, like back and forth.
I just come back to I'm really big on just looking at historical matchups between teams because that's
because I agree with you.
Because
I'm big on that too. I'm huge on that too.
Everybody analyzes this team's better than that team, but it's all weaknesses and strengths and how they match up. And then
you're dead right. No, because that's even week 18. That's why I was on San Francisco. That was one of my biggest plays the season.
Yeah, they always beat the Rams.
They just beat the Rams. That's what you keep. I agree with you 100%. Matchup wise.
Yeah. And the Green Bay kind of hadn't. It's weird too because they're rested, but they kind of didn't really play a real game when they lost to Detroit week 18 and they're off the bye. So,
yeah.
I don't know. That's a tough. These aren't the easiest. Obviously, as you get farther in the NFL playoffs, the games get tougher to handicap. I mean, that's not necessarily rocket science. All right, let's move on to the early Sunday game and this Rams-Bucks game. So I feel like the Rams are public this week. They're like 65 to 70%. I think that's because everybody watches Monday Night Football and then maybe beat the crap out of the Cards. But my issue is Ron Jensen and Tristan Wirfs getting banged up on that Bucs O-line, especially Jensen, because if Aaron Donald tears the Bucs interior up and can get in Brady's face, because it's all about that interior pressure with a guy like Brady, and Drew Brees is like that too because they're not mobile. So if they can't step up in the pocket, they're not going to be able to do anything. However, I just can't believe the public's going against Brady and the Bucs on the road here.
It's funny because I noticed that this morning too when I was on my way in. I was checking that, and when I'd see you for sharp money. I believe you can never really pin it down until it's like right before a kick, because obviously so much money will be circulated now in the next 48 hours before that game. But what I had seen it was like decently sharp money on Tampa, which I was surprised by. Like you said, just thinking that I thought that people would see Brady -2.5, -3 at home, easy. Yeah, and the recency bias, they watch them kick the shit out of the Cardinals on Monday night. They're all over the Rams. They watch the defense. So the game earlier this year, Rams-Bucs, that was in Tampa, correct?
No, so the first game, no, it was Bucs by 1.5 out at the Rams.
And the Rams
beat them
out
like 31-17. But I was on the Rams that week. I was on that.
No, that's a game I don't. Even though I just forgot where it was, I just remember like the.
But it was early in the year. I think it was like late September.
I remember because I was in Chicago at Aurora. We were doing the event, and I'll have to say that was my biggest. That was one of the biggest plays I've ever made in my life on the Rams that day. So I remember that game. Besides them being, I didn't get to watch it like a ton because we were like bouncing all around. We were like flying and stuff. But that's another one too. Just matchup wise, like they kind of beat the. I think the final was like 34-17. And it was, I believe they were winning by even more than that. Tampa kind of scored late a little bit, started making it like a little bit of a push later in the game. But, I mean, they handled them pretty well. And to me now, it's funny because, like, the Rams started so hot, then they got cold. Now they're kind of hot again, I think. I love the way that McVay and the offense is using Odell. Like, I think they've kind of, like, finally got that figured out. Like, when you've got guys like Odell, Higbee, and, like, Kupp, obviously, especially Kupp and Odell, like, those are two guys that you don't really – if you put those guys one-on-one on islands, you're going to get beat a lot. And I just like what they're doing with the offense with them and finally, like, maximizing that. But it's a fucking tough game. Like, it really threw me off how public the Rams were. Because I was thinking it was going to be the total opposite. And I was like, I've been pretty firm. Like, I like the Rams.
Too.
I like the Rams.
I mean, who wants to go against Brady in the playoffs?
Because now the Rams being public, I'm like, oh, God. I'm like, the fucking I don't like that at all. I do not like that at all. I'll have to see. I'm on my brain. Rams +3 is the play right now, but by Sunday that could definitely change.
And finally, and we're going to take calls after we go through this last game. You look at the late Sunday afternoon. I got to say, I mean, I've watched football, and you have too, for our whole lives. I cannot remember a divisional playoff game that felt bigger as far as a matchup than the Bills-Chiefs this year. This one, I mean, there's always, you say that every year, there's big games. This one feels like the AFC Championship, and it just last year it was the AFC Championship. Then Buffalo went there earlier this year on Sunday night and beat the hell out of them.
Yep.
But that was when the Chiefs were struggling. They beat them 38-20.
Yep.
And then you just look at both these teams. I mean, Allen, Mahomes, all the defense, the playmakers on both sides. This one just feels like a street fight. And Buffalo is like slightly public underdog. Last year KC was 2.5 in this game, and then they got down 10-0 early because McCole Hardman fumbled that punt, but then they kind of blew them out. They beat them 38-24. This year, I'm seeing it at 1.5 after it opened at 2. I mean, I default. I just don't go against Mahomes. It is what it is. But I'd be lying if I had like a super strong feeling on this one.
Yeah. So what I'm seeing as it stands, at least right now, is that actually Buffalo is like very sharp, like heavy. So what I'm seeing at least right this second is Kansas City getting 60% of the tickets and Buffalo getting 80% of the money. So big, pretty like the biggest swing in terms of the 4 games, in terms of the difference between that tickets and money. I've been pretty firm on the Bills. I like that's something that, and now this could be a transition maybe after the Giants has hired Joe Schoen as the GM. These Bills' assistant GM is now going to be the Giants general manager. So now I already was on the Bills. Now I'm weirdly like somehow I just found myself now I'm like sort of emotionally attached to the Bills. I want to see them do good for be like, hey, let's bring it over to the Giants and get this shit going. But all that even aside, I like the Bills. I've been on the Bills. I think I'm going to stay on the Bills. I won't like sign my name to that right this second, but I think I'm pretty like I'm pretty firm on the Bills. I just think like they really are hot right now. And not to say the Chiefs are. I mean, the Chiefs are fucking hot too. But I think the Bills, I don't know. I just think there's something about the Bills right now. I just think they got a little magic in them. I don't know what it is. I just think they're really cooking right now.
Oh, they are. I tell you what, the team that's sitting in the best spot is Tennessee, because these two, if they can get by the Bengals, these two are going to just slug it out, and Tennessee's going to be sitting there waiting on them at home. You know, after them, these two teams coming off a heavyweight, just like street.
And and they'll get that extra day too.
And Tennessee already beat both the Chiefs and Bills at home this year too. So whatever that's worth. One quick Giants thing, and then we're going to hit the phone lines. Do you want the Bills assistant GM to bring Brian Dabble with him, the Bills OC?
I absolutely do.
I think that would be a good move.
I do for sure. So I'm happy with Joe Schoen. I believe we interviewed Schoen. We interviewed I think it's Paul, the guy, like Chiefs guy, interviewed Cardinals guy. Schoen seemed to be the hot name. He seemed to be a name that a lot of teams wanted. I'm glad that we we did our due diligence early. We got after it. We got a lot of these guys in the building. Multiple interviews with multiple different candidates. Schoen's the guy. It's official now. He's hired. Hired the GM first. Now he picks the coach. I think that's the right way to build your team. I want Dabble. Dabble's who right now, my knee-jerk, who I want as head coach. I want to bring over the package deal.
Look what he's done with Josh Allen.
That's what I'm saying. He's done a great job with the offense.
Saban and Bama too.
Josh Allen, Nick Saban, all these guys. So the name, I've seen two names. This isn't, I don't know how much this means. It's more just, I think, guys, they're definitely bringing an interview for the head coaching job, which is fine with me because, listen, obviously we're going to interview a bunch of guys. Basically, what I've read already is we're going to bring in Brian Flores for an interview. Makes sense. We're going to bring in Dan Quinn for an interview as well, which is interesting. Obviously, he did a very good job with the Dallas defense this year. I don't know how I'm going to feel if we just hire Dan Quinn as the head coach. Like I said, it's just an interview. Like, it's not, this is opening interviews. Like, it's not I don't think this is anything set in stone, nothing like that.
I'll be honest, I wouldn't like it.
I would not be happy about it.
He was good when he had Kyle Shanahan as OC. That's what I thought.
I just don't love it. I just think it's a little too quick to just throw him back into a head coaching job. Like I said, I want Dabble. We'll see how it goes. I just like that we're letting Schoen call the shots, and I think it seems that the Giants are finally. I think there was some Mara family stuff going on where I think they were being a little too trying to put their hands in stuff when they're not real football people.
Yeah,
even though listen, you own a team for they've literally forever, almost 100 years they've owned the team. So I mean, at this point, you got to be football people at some point. But my understanding is they're finally kind of the new GM is getting the opportunity to kind of push them out essentially. They're not going to interfere with any football decisions and things like that anymore. It's the GM's stuff, it's coach's stuff, it's president, all that. They're the ones handling this shit.
One thing on the Bills front, if he comes off the Bills, that comes out of that Panthers-Bills McDermott tree. They believe in depth on the D-line, and I know the Giants always believe in really investing in the D-line too, so I feel like that might carry over.
It's funny. Clem tweeted this morning, and I just said, I actually don't remember if I retweeted it, and I should have. But it's saying, don't guarantee things in life. I guarantee that Joe Schoen will be a better GM than Dave Gettleman.
Oh, well, yeah.
I guarantee that.
The bar.
Guarantee.
The bar is not set high. All right, we're going to get through some calls. We appreciate you guys waiting on the phone line. It's 1-888-STOOL-22. We're going to go to Ethan in Arizona talking some NFL playoffs. What's up, Ethan? You're on Pick Central.
Yo, can you guys hear me?
Yo, yeah. Loud and clear, my man. How are you?
All right, boys. Doing good, guys. Big fan of the show. Just got a little question for you guys. So a couple of weeks ago, I placed plus 800 on the Bengals to win the AFC Championship.
Okay.
And I'm wondering if I should hedge that bet if they beat Tennessee tomorrow. If they beat Tennessee tomorrow, the question is, should I hedge the bet or should I let it keep rolling?
Man, I think you got to let it ride because they're going to be a pretty big – the problem is here's the thing with the Bengals. If they win tomorrow, that means they're going to KC or they're going to Buffalo. It's not going to be a great hedge spot because they're going to be a pretty fairly – they're going to be an underdog in both.
Right. You got to think whoever they face in that spot, either Kansas City or Buffalo, they're going to be a 4 or 5 or 6 point underdog.
It might be, yeah. It could be 6.
I was thinking 5 or 6.
Yeah, I think it could be a little higher than people think if those two teams are at home. And so because of that – maybe you're better off. Your hedge spot would be if, the Bengals jumped up early in the AFC Championship game on a live line, more so than because I think look, you got an 8-1, you got a fairly good ticket, you got a red hot Joe Burrow, you just go with God. You know what I'm saying?
Yep. Yeah, I got you. And one more thing for Big Ev, my guy. Who do you got tomorrow night, Gane or Nagano?
Ngannou. I'm betting Ngannou. Pretty heavy as well.
Yeah?
Yep. So I guess I talked about it this week, or excuse me, last week. My guy that loved Cater, obviously that came through. He loves Ngannou, if that means anything to you.
Love it.
And even me personally, just no doubt, just talk about it a little bit. Obviously, this for I guess for the non-UFC like lovers, this is kind of the class. It's like Mike Tyson knockout puncher versus like the most athletic, technical striker in the history of the heavyweight division. They also a lot of beef. They're former teammates. They kind of argue about that in the press conference yesterday, whether they were teammates or not. Basically, Gon's current coach was Ngannou's old coach, and they have some beef. The coach and Ngannou have some beef. It's a heavyweight champ versus the undefeated interim champ. I think it's going to be a fucking awesome fight. When there's just nothing like heavyweight fights, like just two mammoth guys. These guys are literally look like they're Greek gods. They're chiseled. They look like they should be NFL defensive ends. They're both just they're fucking. It's going to be awesome. I like Ngannou. He's a dog. Like you're getting plus like 125-ish range on him. I like him too. And I get to speak on UFC. I like Figueiredo as well, who's also the dog, who was the belt, who got it taken by Moreno in the last fight. This is the trilogy fight. Okay. And I like him as a dog. He's even coming in at plus like 145, 150 range. I think that's really disrespectful. He's just a really good fighter. Noted, though, I always say this to Robbie. I say this all the time. In fighting, in trilogy fights, guy who wins the second fight wins the third fight. Like, it's a crazy, like,
really?
75, like 80%.
So it's
wild.
like they lose the first one and then they figure it out kind of thing?
I believe the stat is in trilogy fights, the guy who wins the second one wins the third one like 75-ish% of the time. Wow. But I'm betting on that this might be one of those times when he loses.
Figueiredo Ngannou parlay pays out plus 450, by the way.
I actually put one in. I put one in with that two of them this morning. I'm away in it was the two of them, Kay Hansen and Michael Morales, that was plus like 1,300. Just threw like a lottery ticket out there, but
I'm gonna bet Nurmagomedov as well, just because.
Let's go, Saeed.
Yeah.
Let's go.
And I have the alternate under in the main event to end in round 1 or 2 plus 100.
Love that.
All right. Appreciate it.
TJ very slept on big time UFC guy.
Yeah, no, the chat loves UFC. Like Ev, I got on that plus 195 underdog winner last week because you with
shout out my guy Magic. He's great MMA follow.
All right, let's go to Rob in New York talking NFL. What's up, man? You're on Pick Central.
What's going on? You guys hear me?
Hell yeah, we hear you loud and clear, my man.
Hey, what's going on? I just wanted to talk about the one game that I think everyone should be watching Saturday night. San Francisco versus Green Bay. I just want to read this stat out to you guys and see how you guys feel about this. Jimmy Garoppolo has never started a game below 40 degrees. Meanwhile, Aaron Rodgers is 28-8 overall and 6-3 in the playoffs. Do you think San Francisco has any chance at all?
I think they have a chance, but it's not because of Jimmy Garoppolo. I think they got a chance because they got a damn good running game, and they can play smash-mouth football, and their defense gets a lot of pass rush on Rodgers, and the fact that they've also done really well against Green Bay in the series. You just got me thinking on the prop thing. I will be firing Jimmy Garoppolo's under passing yards just after this talk. I think that might be a good bet.
And the other thing is, do you guys think that line movement was because of the weather or just Jimmy G's thumb not being 100%?
I don't think, what did it move, like a half a point-ish? I think it's kind of just natural, market movement. I don't think it was crazy, I don't know. I mean, I don't think it was anything extreme like that, because injury or anything. Lamis, are you the one that sent me that graphic?
No, I didn't tweet anything.
Because someone, it's funny because me and Marty on the show, we literally just mentioned, I said in my brain, I can't remember watching Jimmy G play in any sort of weather. And someone either later that day or the next day sent me a graphic that was what you just said, that it was that Jimmy G had never played a game in under 40-degree weather.
Yeah.
Interesting stat.
It's going to be 12 degrees. It's going to be windy. San Francisco is a warm team,
No, I think it's a fair point.
But they do play smash mouth, though. That's the only thing is that they are.
See, Mincy, this is the problem. That just ping-ponged me back to Green Bay. this game, I'm just getting like ping pong back and forth.
I hear you.
I think that makes.
Because who wants to go against Rodgers at Lambeau?
That's what.
Okay.
I think.
If you do, you're like, and they win by 3 touchdowns. You're like, what the hell am I doing?
Because those two things, like the Jimmy G never playing a cold weather game ever, plus how good Green Bay is at home when it's cold, it's tough to bet against that.
I think if the 49ers defense can lock up Devontae Adams, it's gonna be a really good game, like a really smash mouth run game, based. I think it's just gonna be a must watch game.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I definitely think that. The thing with Adams, it's like you think in your head, like, oh, you just key on him and blah, blah, blah. But, man, the way they use him, I mean, they line him up out wide. They line up in the slot. He's in motion. I mean, they do such creative, innovative stuff with him that it's just like it's not – you can't just, like, say we're going to bracket him and take him away.
I mean,
because they just adjust on the fly well.
I mean, think every team that goes to play them says that before every game.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like some secret, like, oh, we got to – this number 17 guy, where the fuck did he come from? Yeah. Like, everyone knows what it is.
He's like the all-time wide receiver, without a doubt.
And then Rodgers also, the chemistry that he has with Rodgers. I mean, they know exactly where to be. And in the windows, Rodgers gets him the ball in on
some
back
of those
shoulder sideline throws.
That's what I was just gonna say. Though, like that, the chemistry they have on the back shoulder is just ridiculous. They just know exactly. He just knows exactly when Adams is gonna stop. He knows exactly when Rodgers wants to let go of the ball. It's crazy.
Well, thank you.
I just got one last question.
Go ahead. Come on with it.
Do you guys think Aaron Rodgers' MVP is a lock 2 years in a row, or do you think Tom Brady has a chance of taking it from him? He threw for 5,000 yards. It was not, that's not human.
It's like weird. It's like the NFL was kind of pushing Brady to win, I felt like.
I see
all the Rodgers weird stuff this year, and he won it last year.
I think Rodgers should win. I just think when you see 37 touchdowns and 4 interceptions, I just don't think we give enough credit to Rodgers how little he turns the ball over. There's so many. Last season, what was it, 45 and 6?
Oh, something like that.
It's just outrageous.
I think it might have been 48 last year.
It could have been. It's just outrageous. I think even listen, when you throw that many touchdowns, you can throw 10, 15 interceptions. I think that's what Brady threw this year. I don't fault you for that. It's a great fucking season. This guy literally drops back 4, 5, 600. Throws 4 interceptions. It's outrageous. Outrageous.
No, and the other thing too, coming back on the Rodgers thing, is Green Bay's never used a first-round pick on a receiver, ever. And, you look at, Brady. I mean, you look at it. Don't get me wrong. I love Devontae Adams, and they've got pretty good running backs. But you look at the weapons, well, especially when Brady had Godwin and Antonio Brown. Obviously, it's a little different now. But Brady's playing with a much more loaded deck, I would say, as far as
I almost
guys.
think and I'm sure this is probably what pissed Rodgers off a lot with the front office. I almost think they used him as, they used Rodgers as, a crutch to, not spend those, elite resources on skill position players because
they drafted Jordan Love.
Exactly. That's a whole other thing. But I was saying more just that they just they don't use these high picks because they just know he's going to make anyone around him good.
Well, for years they kept taking DBs early and they were busts for a long time, and they finally got it right with Jaire Alexander.
Yep.
That was a big part of the problem was they kept screwing up on those picks. One other guy I want to mention in this game, Randall Cobb, activated from IR. Yep. Rodgers loves going to him, trust him in key spots. Be on the lookout for – I may be looking at some of his props. I could see Rodgers going to him.
He's someone who, if he's plus 250, 300 or something to score a touchdown, he's not a bad look at something
I could just see
that.
Rodgers going to him and play. This is a playoff game. That's why he brought him back.
Even in that when they were shorthanded in that Cardinals game, they loved him in the red zone. He scored 2 touchdowns.
Oh, yeah. All right, we're going to go to – thanks for the call. We're going to our old friend Mark in Philly. It says NBA. What's up, Mark? How are you, man?
What's up, fellas? I'm good. How about you guys?
I'm doing good, man. Just I think Evan and I had different experiences in the Garden last night, so I enjoyed it.
Let's keep bringing it up.
Of course. Pels never win.
I'm sticking in the NBA. I wanted to talk about Big Ev's guy, John Morant, a pick revolving around John Morant. I called in a Suns winner to B-Walk's show yesterday, and I called in my NFL picks already to his show, so I'll stick in the NBA. I love Memphis +4 tonight at Denver. The Grizz are 15-7 against the spread on the road and 15-8 against the spread as an underdog. Denver's only 9-14 against the spread as a favorite. They're on the same amount of rest, but Denver's coming off of a game where they went to overtime and won on a buzzer beater in a game they gave up 127 to the Skeleton Clippers, and they gave up 125 to the Jazz the game before that. And I just don't think enough attention has been paid nationally to the progression Ja Morant has made in each year. This guy's the equivalent of pre-injury young D-Rose with an even better jumper. I think the guy's a superstar, and I think Memphis covers 4 tonight.
I love it. I agree with you. I agree with you on especially on the Ja Morant sentiment. I don't think he's getting enough love for how good he actually is becoming.
My thing on it, I feel like Memphis is not getting Vegas is not really adjusted their power ranking on them. I mean, I'm seeing the other night they're like 2.5 against Dallas. Now they're +4 at Denver's 23-20. It seems like they've been so hot, but Vegas is still not necessarily giving them that much respect on the lines.
What are they? What are they? The 3 seed in the West
they're
right
31-16. I
3
believe.
seed, right? Jesus.
Yeah, and you can see that by the fact that they've been underdogs in 23 games. They're 15-8 against the spread as an underdog. That's way too many games for them to have been an underdog at this point.
I agree. I love the play.
Now, in Denver, Jokic is obviously having a big year, but they were 23-20, I believe. It's always weird, though. I don't love going against Denver when they're at home just because of that altitude.
Yeah.
That's just like kind of an older school thought. All right, well, thanks, Mark. Always appreciate you. Have any NFL picks for this weekend?
My NFL picks for this weekend are just going through it quick are Cincy, San Fran, KC, and then the over in Buffalo, KC. I've got no idea what to do with Bucks Rams. I can't pick a side or a total on that game, but I feel pretty good, especially about Cincy and San Fran.
Awesome. Well, Mark, always appreciate the call, man. Good luck tonight with the Memphis Grizzlies.
You as well.
All right, we're going to go to Ryan, and I'm excited. Getting a lot of UFC talk in the chat. People love it. Ryan's calling in from Iowa to talk UFC with Ev.
Let's go.
Because I probably will not have much to add to it. What's up, Ryan? You're on Pick Central. How are you?
What up, boys? Happy Friday. Love the show. It's just you two. I was going to talk about Ngannou and Figgy parlay, but it sounds like you guys already have that covered. But I just don't want you to forget to put Saeed or Magomedov in that parlay. It's like +750, and you know those Dakistani boys like to wrestle.
Love it. You're with my guy. I would say TJ. I already love that too. I love it. Yeah, I just think it's a spot where in Ngannou I feel the best about. Like I don't know. I think it's funny because they had a lot of fireworks in the press conference to say about basically Ngannou had said that he thought that Stipe was a tougher fight than Gane would be, and he's basically said specifically because Gane doesn't have nearly the chin that Stipe has. And it's funny because I watched it last night when I got back from the Knicks game. I watched the press conference, and I kind of thought about it for a second because obviously, like when you just put the two of them together, like Stipe and Gane, like Gane's a much bigger guy, period, like heavier, just bigger, everything in general. But when I thought about it, I was like, if you look at especially the second fight but even the first fight too, he shows it up. But the second fight, I think specifically between Ngannou and Stipe, like you saw, like Stipe took so many shots from Ngannou. That I think if you played comparable shots in Ngannou's previous fights, they were knockout punches to like JDS, like Cain Velasquez and some of these guys where like he almost started selling me on it the more I thought about that. I was like, he basically in saying from training with him that he doesn't think that Gane has the chin to hold up like even Stipe did. And he ran through Stipe. I think Gane's a different animal. Like I said, he's bigger, probably more athletic, a little bit more technical striker, and there was like kickboxing, stuff like that, but I really like Ngannou. Like I just like he's this guy like all it takes is one shot, like one clean shot, no one's surviving it. So I like Ngannou. That's where I'm at.
He called the knockout too, so he called the knockout by round 2. So I believe him.
Love it. I mean, every single win he's had in the UFC has been by finish in the first or second round.
Yep, he's
guy's a finisher.
That's pretty good.
He's
stat.
dude. I'm just Mitzi. If you get a minute when you get home, I'm telling you, just put on some Ngannou like scary knockouts.
Okay.
Vicious, scary knockouts.
Awesome. All right, well, Ryan, thank you for the call. We're gonna go. We've got a call now from LA. We got a West Coast rider shouting out Rico. What's up, man? You're on Pick Central.
Hey, boys. First time, long time. Want to give you guys props for showing up on a Friday. Impressive.
Thank
stuff.
you.
Got to get down on Football Friday, my man.
I mean, Mincy and Ev, always consistent. I'm taking attendance in Rico's absence. High marks for you boys. Well done, well done. All right, let's get to the facts. I'm a rider. I was born a rider. I'll die a rider. We all got our issues, right? Mincy, you're a great success story at overcoming your demons, and I just, from the bottom of my heart, at this time of reflection, I want to say on behalf of all the West Coast riders, Rico, we love you.
Amen, brother. Amen, brother.
And we can't wait to see you back, and better than ever. Some things are bigger than high noon cans. And just remember, boys, nobody circles the wagons like the Buffalo Bills.
Oh, wow.
Have a great weekend. Have a great weekend. Go Buffalo. Go Rico. Look out for Derrick Henry on those Titans. He's hungry. I'm going to let you guys go.
All right. But Rico is – I look for –
God bless. Couple weeks.
I texted Rico yesterday, said, hey, man, we're missing you in the office. Hope you're doing well. And he responded, looking forward to getting back. He sounded like he was in – obviously going through some things, but he seemed pretty upbeat.
Yeah, I reached out to him, obviously, like, when it all happened. I got to reach out to him again soon. Got to see what he's up to. Maybe talk a little college hoops later with him.
Yeah, and all right, we're going to go to Levi in Iowa. It's college basketball. What's up, Levi?
What's up? You guys got me?
Oh, yeah. We got you. What's on your mind?
Yeah, so I cashed last night with the dog in Indiana plus 3.5.
I did
tonight.
too.
I'm going chalk. I'm taking Wisconsin. I think it's -3 right now, the Barstool Sports book. Off the top, Wisconsin's played a much tougher schedule. I think they're much more proven. They're 8-2, their last 10 as a favorite. Michigan State's 1-4 ATS, their last 5 as a road underdog. So I'm going with the Badgers tonight at home.
Yeah, Ev talked about why he liked Michigan State a lot at the beginning of the show. I'm on Wisconsin, but I took it as one of my picks that we're going to give out here in a minute because they've been so hot, and Wisconsin year in, year out is tough as balls at home. They're always one of the teams that's hard to beat at home. However, I am concerned. I thought it might be 4.5 or 5 with how hot they've been, and that concerned me a little bit. Ev, I know you kind of said you like the dog.
Yeah, I'm on Michigan State. It's a few things. I feel like I keep fading Wisconsin in these spots, and like I said earlier, it really isn't about me thinking Wisconsin's overrated. It's just a long college basketball season. Big Ten's a grueling schedule. You're just due to have one off night. And it just seems like they just never have it. Even I forget who they played last week. They overcame it when Johnny Davis didn't have a great game. But Tyler Wall played incredible.
Yeah,
Brad Davidson, my guy, unreal game. I just think they're due for one. I got it 3.5, so I'm catching 3.5 here. And Michigan State obviously coming off a bad loss to Northwestern at home. I just think this is a spot they're going to be highly motivated in. I just think Wisconsin they gotta lay an egg eventually. Like I said, I still think they're a really good team. I think there's a lot of potential long term in the tournament as well. I just think they're due to drop one or have one close. I'm taking a shot here.
All right, thank you for the call, Levi.
Yeah, appreciate you guys.
All right, we're going to Sean in Maryland, keeping the college basketball talk going. What's up, Sean? You're on Pick Central.
What's up, guys? Can you hear me?
Yep, we got you.
Awesome. All right. So Ev already touched on Illinois and Maryland earlier, but since you guys are having some fun with the parlays this month, also nice win, Mincy. Since you're doing that, take Illinois on the spread and then pair that with St. Bonaventure to beat Duquesne just straight up. You go from absolutely no value in your picks to plus 171 on the Barstool app. Duquesne is awful. They've lost to teams like Northeastern, who can't even get a conference win in the CAA, which is a total crapshoot. Putting those two together, you got great value out of that. And guys like JDM at the company need to understand Maryland is just ready to shit the bed for the rest of the year. It's just not going to happen. Mark Turgeon put together a terrible team. He's a terrible coach. I grew up a fan watching them, and I expect them to lose every single game for the rest of the year. On a bonus pick, if you guys slide over to the NHL, Florida Panthers, best team in the league. Alexander Barkov is on a heater recently, put up 2 goals and an assist last night. Take them, 1.5 point spread. Got plus money on that as well at Vancouver. Last time they played Vancouver, they beat them by 3. They just won 6-0 last night, so even though they're on a back-to-back, they cruised last night, so they're going to win this one, no problem.
Thank you for the call, Sean. I appreciate the hockey pick as well. We're going to go to John in New Jersey. He wants to talk NFL and UFC, 2 of our favorite topics. What's up, John?
Hey, guys. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Perfect. Love to hear that. Also, appreciate you guys. Awesome. Oh, you guys are awesome. Pick Central is great. Keep it simple. 3 NFL picks. Titans, because I think everyone is on the Bengals, and I'm trying to be sharp, even though I'm not that smart. Rams and Buffalo. Keep it simple. And for the UFC, the Francis Ngannou era has to continue. This guy is the greatest thing that we've seen since Mike Tyson. I will guarantee one thing in his lifetime, that Cyril Gane will be a heavyweight champion. It will just not be Saturday night. Francis Ngannou, preferably by second-round knockout. I don't know what those odds are, but I'm going to take them.
I love it. Yeah, I know it's funny because obviously he's won all these fights by knockout. I mean, he's plus like 125 on the money line-ish, and he's plus like 150 by knockout. It almost should be like the same because I really don't even see a world where he wins this fight and it's not by knockout. I couldn't fathom him winning a fight by decision.
If you're going to take him, you might as well take the knockout.
I'm making a very large wager on Ngannou, and for that reason, I just took it on the money line, just to not play around for like, I don't know, plus 20. You know what I mean? Like a little. I really, even though, like with that said, I just don't see him winning not by knockout. It would be Ebony's trying to distract me. She distracted me. But no, I love Ngannou. I mean, I just think, like I said, I just don't see how he doesn't win by knockout if he wins. Because if it goes 5 rounds and Cyril Gane survives 5 rounds, that to me means that he picked Francis apart a little bit. It was able to obviously just avoid the knockout blow, which would, I would say, highly go to his favor. But I like Ngannou. It's crazy. So the public has fallen in love with Gane because Francis even initially opened as a favorite. And the public has swung this line so much that he's up to minus like 150 from a dog. I don't know. I think he's really talented. Like, it's not that I don't see it, but I just like Ngannou. I just think he's going to be able to land that shot. I think he's going to be able to find it.
All right. Thank you.
Well, yeah, if you fit.
Go ahead.
All right. Sounds good. Thank you, guys.
No, go ahead. You're talking. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're good, man. You guys are the host of this shit. I just forget. But yeah, if Cyril Gane's going to be able to do anything, he has to be doing it the way that Stipe beat Francis in that first fight, which is probably going to be a lot of wrestling and a lot of pinpointing and dodging. If his chin is as good as Stipe, which in my opinion is the greatest heavyweight of all time, then Cyril Gane's going to go on a tear like we've never seen before.
Oh yeah, no, I mean, if he does something crazy, like if he comes out and like knocks out Francis, I mean, he's going to be a fucking superstar, especially in Europe and in France over there. If he knocks out Ngannou, which I think is possible. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say it's like unlikely. He's a massive guy, huge guy, super athlete. Like if he can find some shots, I think he's possible. I mean. But I don't know. I like Francis. I just think people have fallen too in love with Cyril Gane a little bit. I think he's kind of become almost like the sexy pick, I guess we'll say, just because you seem like, oh, he's so athletic. He's so technical. He's so his fundamentals, his technique, his form is perfect. His movement is incredible, this and that. But like when that big right or left hand lands in your chin, none of that shit matters. And I think that's what Francis has for him.
Absolutely, I agree.
All right, thank you for the call, my man. Appreciate it. We're going to get to Liam here. He's in New York talking college basketball. What's up, Liam?
Hey, how you guys doing?
Doing
so
good.
I got really a question for Big Ev. I usually ride with him, so with his picks. But Illinois, Maryland tonight. Kofi being out, and Maryland, besides the past 2 games where they've been getting their shit kicked in, and Illinois losing off a bad double OT game the other day. What do you think with Maryland? Because they're big, and I feel like without Kofi, they're kind of just struggle.
So I said it a little earlier. So I was lucky that last night I got in Illinois at plus 7.5 without knowing Kofi was going to be out. I kind of just very lucky coincidence on my part that he just happens to be out, and now it's 4. It's Maryland. You have to tread lightly. Like for me, they were a 1-unit play. Like I tread lightly on Maryland, especially when they play these really good teams. Because it just seems like whenever they play these good teams, they just fall on their face. Now that the line's at 4.5, it's like I like if you take Maryland's name out of it and just take pure like spot and spread, like I like Maryland. Like they're at home, really need a win. Illinois is coming off like a huge like emotional double OT loss.
Yeah.
Like I like Maryland. Like I'm not going to sit here and say hammer Maryland. I don't like it's not a significant play. It's on my card. I definitely liked it a lot better at 7.5. I mean, I definitely like the fact that Kofi's not there because I do think they should be able to like Maryland should be able to win on the boards. I agree with you there 100%. So I mean, I'm playing Maryland. I guess that's where I'm at. But like I said, I can never get too invested in Maryland just because they're just they just turn into a dumpster fire sometimes in these spots. They just lay eggs.
Yeah, especially the past 2 games where they kind of shit the bed.
Big time.
Thanks for the call, Liam. I want to ask Ev a couple Saturday
Thank you.
games. We got 2 top 25 matchups that are both in the Southeastern Conference on Saturday. Kentucky, number 12, traveling to Auburn, too. Some interesting news out of Kentucky. Sharp, who is supposed to be, he's a top 5 NBA draft pick. Well, he should be a high school senior now. Well, he's on Kentucky's team, and now they're saying he's going to be draft eligible because he was supposed to be a freshman next year. So I wonder, is Calipari going to play him? He's been warming up with the team and stuff. I'm real curious on that. Do you think Auburn's going to spank Kentucky regardless of that tomorrow?
Me and Marty have kind of been I love Auburn.
And you've been going against Kentucky on the road too.
I have. I like him at home. I fade him on the road. I think Auburn's they're just so good, man. I know it's just like a cliche, like just say how good they are. They just are so loaded, man. They have so many guys that can score. Just great athletes everywhere. They're just stacked. And at home, and I think Auburn, especially, I think that I've seen some of their home games. I think obviously Auburn's not this traditional basketball blue blood that you think about. But when I watch them at home, they have an unreal fan base. They have a rocking crowd for these games. I know on Saturday they're going to be up for a big game with Kentucky coming to town, a blue blood. I like Auburn. I really like Auburn. I have a pretty nice wager on them at 25-1 to win national title. I'm a big believer in Auburn. So yes, I'll be playing them on tomorrow.
The other matchup is LSU at Tennessee, and LSU, they lost by 3 and fought back against Bama, but they're a little shorthanded on offense. This feels like a game. The first to 60 wins in this one. Tennessee plays low-scoring games too a lot. They play good defense.
They just had that crazy game against Kentucky last week.
Yeah, they allowed 107.
The total was 190 almost. It got to.
Well, what's interesting on the LSU? So here's a stat on LSU: opposing team totals unders have hit 15 in a row. The defense LSU's been playing this year, and last year every game LSU played was in the 80s or 90s. It's like they're a totally different identity. So I'm going to be looking at the under in that one. But those are the only 2 big ranked matchups. But you know how college basketball is. I mean, there's always pandemonium. So.
Oh, yeah. No, it'll be great. See, obviously tough when you got usually the full slate now. It's just all college, but we got 2 NFL games still. So I'll definitely watch some college hoops. That Auburn game I'll be watching for sure.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the NFL more. All right, let's get to our picks for today. I've been going, look, I'll admit it. I'm not the best at basketball, nor do I claim to be, so I'm going selective on it. I'm trying to do 3 or 4 a night as opposed to putting 8 out. I'm just trying to pick the ones I like and hitting them, and I've been winning 2 out of 3 most days, so I'm going to keep with that. Tonight, I have 3 picks. I did Maryland plus 4.5 as the home underdog. I just like the spot they're catching Illinois in, like Ev said, off the double OT thing, and then Kofi being out. I got Wisconsin by 3 just because I always take Wisconsin at home. And I'll be honest, this third pick, St. Bonnie's a road favorite at Duquesne. It looks a little ratty, but St. Bonnie's got a bunch of seniors. And so I like their experience to not let down on the road just because of the experience. But, it's not the biggest card today, and so I had to get 3 picks up. So there we are.
Yeah, I mean, classic Friday, not a great college basketball card.
I like that the Big Ten's doing the Friday stuff,
the 2 Big
now.
Ten games at least gives us something. Obviously, Wisconsin, Michigan State's a great ranked matchup, so feel good about that. Yeah, I just have 4 plays, too. I got all college basketball. I got Buffalo minus 7.5 and Cleveland State minus 7.5. I do kind of feel like a dickhead for Maryland plus 7.5, but I don't because
Dude, if you got it in yesterday.
I played it. I have it in. I feel good about it.
No, that's
I wish I got more.
Part of it. Getting your money in early before the lines move is such a underrated, important skill because the edges are so small in sports.
I just always feel like a dickhead giving out because I know people play my plays and stuff, so I always feel kind of bad about that you can't get that number. Maybe I'll play it again at 4.5 for the people just for solidarity, but I got it 7.5. I'd still play it at 4.5. I just think it's a good spot for me, even though, like I said, my questions with Maryland. And I'm on Michigan State plus 3.5 pretty heavy. That's my biggest play of the day personally. I just think this spot. Listen, the fact that they're getting 3.5, it's not like it's like a pick 'em that I need them to win outright. So I think they're a good team. They're deep. They're coming off a bad loss. They really need a win. Wisconsin is just due for an egg. They may, who knows, maybe they'll just win every game for the rest of eternity and they'll just be national champions. But I like Michigan State plus 3.5 tonight. That's the biggest play of the night.
Okay, there you go. There are plays for. Do we have anybody else's plays to put up today? Or Okay, we got Megan's got Illinois State -7. She's been hot, doing a little better lately.
Above 500.
There you go. Shout out Megan making money. Brandon's got the Clippers +8.5, Hawks by 1.5, Spurs and Grizzlies money line. Grizzlies are
Grizzlies a money line.
Grizzlies
dog.
are 4-point underdogs, so that should be a decent price. Smitty has bet with Smitty +270. Marty's gonna. The GPS has been cashing again last night. Yeah, +230 or +240 last night. So Marty getting a little hot with the GPS. Good for Marty. We're gonna be hitting. You're gonna be on some. We got NFL playoff streams this weekend.
Yeah, I'll be there. I believe tomorrow we're gonna be from Hoboken, and then Sunday from here.
Okay, I'm gonna be on them all weekend. Also, Stephen Shea and I are gonna do Twitter Spaces an hour before the games on Saturday and Sunday. We'll have a Fantasy Football Factory pod parlays. I'm gonna do Bengals Titans tomorrow, and he's gonna do Rams Bucks, and I'll have prop bets all weekend. I'm gonna fire pretty heavy on these games, and very, very much looking forward to just watching a bunch of football this weekend. I'm pretty much going to be here through the Super Bowl and just on these streams and here every day. And
yep,
it's not a bad time of year.
I'm just tomorrow's so I just love, for me, just like college basketball day, 2 huge NFL games and a pay-per-view UFC for the heavyweight championship. I'm fucking ecstatic. I've been waiting for Saturday this whole week. I'm just so fucking excited.
It's going to be a great Saturday.
It's an awesome sports day tomorrow. Awesome day.
It seems like they have more UFC cards now, huh? Because it used to be like
more.
Once every couple months.
Way
now
more.
It's like every week.
They're doing a lot of fight nights. It's pretty much most every week. This is a legit pay-per-view one. Pay-per-view is only about once a month.
Double Fault has an Australian Open pick to Tsitsipas at +200. He was on the phone line the whole time. We didn't have a chance to get to him, but shout out to him. Appreciate his tennis picks. Stay tuned for the Yak. It's up next. And good luck on all your gambling this weekend.